and I'm sure a thundering applause is waiting.
One of the major players are people called globalists, who look at the world. It sounds very nice. It sounds very nice, Virat something, but it is not so straightforward. They have specific civilizational ideas, civilizational agendas. The globalists, from a Marxist point of view, a leftist point of view, are extremely powerful against nationalism, because a nation state comes in the way of a globalism. Whether it is the globalism of, Sharia should rule the whole world, and there should be a caliphate, or whether it is the globalism of the American left. United Nations is a very interesting game board by itself, where different agendas have come together to move a machine which is very powerful, has a lot of resources, a lot of clout, that effectively gives the World Health Organization the power to declare an emergency at its discretion. There is no due process to challenge it. If it declares, that's it. Namaste, and thank you all for being here. I look forward to a lively and thoughtful exchange. To explain what the book is about, imagine that you are at a game board and you are one of the players, but instead of another opponent, there's many opponents. That's a little complicated. Some of them are in alliance with each other. Some of them are proxies for people behind them who are pulling the strings. So there is no transparency. It's not a straightforward thing. And imagine that the rules of the game are also not very clear. Now that's a very strange kind of a game to play. But if the pieces on the board are your children, then obviously you can't just abandon the game either. So that's sort of the situation we are describing. The idea is to describe the game board, known and unknown. Forces that are known and forces that are unknown. Forces that are visible, forces that are hidden. The idea is not to criticize a particular person or institution, but rather to explain the game. That's the idea, to explain the game. And then, people can decide, if they are players, if they want to rethink the strategy with which they are playing this game. That's the whole idea. So the game we are talking about is narrative warfare, narrative discourse, narrative competition, clashes, which is really very serious, because you have many civilizations, many political organizations globally. India is full of its own narratives here, narrative warfare within India also. And also, whatever I've said is true within the domestic politics. There's the game board. Some of it is visible, some of it is not visible. Some of the people are parties, and the forces are known. Some of them are proxies for someone else. Some of them are in alliance with each other. So obviously, when you look at the whole world as a game board, it's going to be far more complex. You cannot understand the game board just sitting here in India. You cannot. And most of the information people getting is second-hand, third-hand, through this media, through that media. And this person has become an expert, but they're not immersed themselves in any of the other, in the player where the other players are. They really don't have a first-hand information. So it's important to get that. And without full knowledge about the other players, what we call purva paksha in our tradition, understanding of the other, without that you really can't play the game properly, because you feel it's a very simple game, but actually it's a far more complex game. One move has within it many other hidden moves that happen. So people in India should know all this, because India is also a very complicated game. So Indians are very sophisticated at understanding this kind of subtlety. But imagine this explodes many-fold when you look at the global game. Now, one of the major players are people called globalists, who look at the world. It sounds very nice, It sounds very nice, Virat something, but it is not so straightforward. They have specific civilizational ideas, civilizational agendas. The globalists from a Marxist point of view, a leftist point of view, are extremely powerful, and they have a certain idea of how things should be. The globalists from a particular religion have a different idea. Another religion, they have a different idea. The globalists from a place like China or a place like Russia or Middle East, they all have ideas of the globe according to their vision. So the question is, what is the Indian vision of the globe? Globe, not just ourselves. And is there are we educating our people according to that? Are there disconnects between what we say is Indian knowledge system and then what is being taught in school? We are pointing that out. So this is not it is not the idea to criticize anybody, but it's the idea to reflect. And it's a very complex game board. I don't think anybody could master the whole game, but maybe there's opportunity to improve it. So globalists generally are against nationalism because a nation state comes in the way of a globalism. Whether it is the globalism of, Sharia should rule the whole world, and there should be a caliphate, or whether it is the globalism of the American left that want to have a global, ecosystem, a world order. Right now, there is the American world order after World War II, the world order. But China has a different idea of a globalist. There are globalists of a different kind. They have this Belt and Road and many things. They want to have a different kind of world. So there are competing globalists already out there. Now, United Nations is a very interesting game board by itself, where different agendas have come together to move a machine which is very powerful, has a lot of resources, a lot of clout, and so there are competing agendas. Just last week, United States, USA, withdrew from World Health Organization. Now you may say it's bizarre, but there are reasons for it. I'm privy to some of those reasons. There are valid reasons for it also. So why would the biggest funding country of WHO suddenly withdraw? That's covered in our book also. Because the education agenda is partly being promoted through UNESCO, which is for education, partly being promoted through some NGOs, like some population control type of people, which is not, who are not supposedly officially in the education business, but they are having a huge amount of say, and we mentioned what kind of say they are having. But part of the education agenda is being promoted through public health. The medical community is part of the educational curriculum, and we will show you that this is in fact the case. Because certain things are considered to be health issues, mental health issues, public health issues. So another kind of player is social justice. The whole human rights, social justice has also become a player in this game. Some of the buzzwords used in this game board have a nice meaning, but the actual content is different than what it seems. One example is global citizenship education. This is part of Sustainable Development Goals. Sustainable Development Goals of the SDGs of the UN, which are everybody in India has signed up for also, include one of the goals happens to be global citizenship. So global citizenship sounds like a very nice name, very nice term. Everybody wants to have a global citizenship. But if you look at the content of global citizenship, under the garb of global citizenship, some of the content coming in is actually anti-India, anti-national. But that, when you signed up for, you've signed up for. Another one is comprehensive sexuality education is part of public health, and under public health, everyone should be taught from birth onwards, from kindergarten onwards, they should be given this kind of education. But then who defines the right kind of comprehensive sexuality education? Whose idea? Is it our idea? Is it somebody else's idea? So this way we have uncovered several kinds of several kinds of educational policies that are part of UN SDGs, that are being promoted through the Mahatma Gandhi Institute here, that are part of the UNESCO, that are part of these Planned Parenthood, major organization with huge base in India, and we think that it's nice, it's planning, family planning, but besides the family planning, which is a good umbrella, there are many other things happening also. So if you begin to dig into this and connect the dots, a different kind of a picture emerges. And that is where this metaphor comes from: who is really raising your children? Is it all these forces? Is it all these known, unknown kind of entities that are really influencing the way the curriculum is read? Now, you may think that, okay, we have a national education policy. NEP 2020 is brilliant, wonderful, it has fantastic things in it. But some of the phrases used in the NEP are a matter of interpretation. So, for example, liberal arts. When you say liberal arts, is it Harvard University's liberal arts, which is all ultra-left based, wokeism oriented? Or is it the liberal arts taught in Nalanda, which is also liberal arts? Who's liberal arts? You have to ask, who's liberal arts? Social sciences. The social sciences around the world, especially English speaking, including India, you go to any university, you look at social sciences, the whole sociology is as per European sociology. It's a European construct. The people they are teaching, this is whether it's the IS exam, whether it's the NCRT, the books on sociology that are taught in schools. They talk about if you look at the 10 great thinkers they talk about in sociology, they're all them Westerners. That's what sociology is. So what about social sciences according to the Vedic tradition? As a counter to that, do we even have a curriculum of social sciences in the Vedic tradition? Is there such a curriculum? Is there a course taught? And if you have a vacuum of our ideological content, if you have a vacuum, and you introduce that subject, then the vacuum is filled by some foreign content. That is what's happened in the IITs. In social sciences, IITs have brought in a huge ultra-left content into the system, but those same topics you could also have covered from our point of view. But unfortunately, that is not what is typically happening. And I've been to IIT Madras. We've had maybe 20, 30 events of ours, 5 or 6 of my books launched. So I've known IIT Madras for a long time. I've known IIT Bombay for a long time. And these are the realities. Our book is focusing on the K through 12 because the K through 12 is particularly the battleground where young children are affected, and some of these policies require teaching these children about sexuality in ways that may not be consistent with our culture. And that is one of the things that Vijaya will elaborate in more detail. And so the concern, who is raising your children, is about do we have enough of our own values? Do we have guardrails? Do we have ways to? Are we doing enough of a due diligence on the content that is coming into the country, or can we do a better job of checking this out? It is not a conspiracy theory, because like all our books, this is full of huge bibliography, which is pages and pages long, a couple hundred references that you can go and check for yourself. And whatever we make a claim, we like to give you a footnote or an endnote, and you can go and check this out for yourself. So the main purpose of this book, and I can't in the allotted time do justice to all the stuff that is in here. The main purpose of this book is to get you to look at India's relationship with the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations and compare it with China's relationship. There is a simple statement in the SDGs that each country can subject it to its national laws, which is very nice. because each country can take these goals and subject it to the national laws. The question is whether you have national laws addressing it or not. And in the absence of national laws addressing it, or addressing it a weak way, you are exposed. So China did a very smart thing. China came up with laws on its own educational policy, where when the SDGs are taught, there is no term social justice. It is not. They feel it's not anybody's business. It's their own business, and SDGs have no business talking about social justice in the Chinese classroom. They blocked it out. Comprehensive sexuality education is going to be as per their own laws, their own norms. What is their policy on trans and all that is as per their own. So they have not taken in the globalist agenda in a very open way, but they've put in place their own rules. And we've given this whole comparison of India and China. We've also given Singapore, so we didn't want people to think it's a big country, China is doing that. Singapore has rejected many collaborations, one with Yale University, because they felt this is too woke and too anti-national against Singapore's interests. So in the middle of a 5-year collaboration, they terminated it and sent those people back. So they have the guts to do that. There is pushback to some of the international treaties which are part of this. There are pushback from Japan. We are quoting you here. So an example is there is a pandemic treaty. There is a treaty that is being signed by a whole lot of countries that effectively gives the World Health Organization the power to declare an emergency at its discretion. There is no due process to challenge it. If it declares, that's it. It has these emergency powers. And under such an emergency, which could be global, regional, one country, a few countries at its discretion, it can have emergency powers to shut down things, to require certain things have to stop, certain things have to start. So what happens under the emergency, it's almost like a new world government can operates over the sovereignty of your country. That is what it says. So 22 states in USA, the attorney generals of the states have come together and filed a case that the United States cannot be part of this because it violates our constitution, and it says that WHO potentially could overrule our sovereignty. Similarly, some activists and scholars in Japan have raised this issue. One of them said that this could be the third atom bomb to be dropped on Japan. The first two were Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And this guy argues that what they are preparing is potentially a third atom bomb they can drop on us anytime they want. So, are our people doing enough scrutiny to all this? Are we doing this? It is not a criticism. I'm not saying they're not. I'm just giving you issues, and we are also presenting some evidence that perhaps some of these things have slipped in, have gone in, come in the door, and we need to take another look. So this is just to give you a kind of a bird's eye view to get you started on a good discussion and good debate. Thank you so much.